on the first day, first sight, you might not really know what this is.
Okay.
Right? So you might make a wrong diagnosis. You might think that, oh, this looks like malaria.
Oh wow! I really liked how we just went. I'm on love. He's on malaria. Fantastic.
But
we could use this as the first 3 seconds of the intro. Anyway, when do you know when you're in love?
All right.
This is a reel, guys.
All right.
This is a reel. Let me clarify on
this
camera.
is very confusing. Like, who is Deepak?
I know. Oh wow. If it is not clear after 4.5 years of creating content, then I should just like shut shop.
No, it's
go back
great.
to Cal.
I think it's great.
Do something.
Because you tick so many boxes.
You've been on a lot of podcasts, right?
Yeah.
My simple search on YouTube would give me that data. What have you not talked about ever? Welcome to the Chill Hour with Deepak. We're shooting today with Dr. Sid Warrior. Dr. Sid Warrior is a doctor, neurologist, creator, speaker, husband, poet, and whatnot. There's a list that I have here. I am obviously missing out a lot of names here. But welcome, Sid, on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So Sid, since you are also a speaker, we'll just chuck the iPad. I don't need the iPad now.
There you go. Chill hour. It's a chill hour.
Chill hour, yeah. I think you mentioned about your grandparents, say, owning your first car or the first house.
Yeah.
I want to quickly shift gears to something fun. What's the most expensive thing you own, man?
Oh, damn.
Break it down for the Sid Warrior audience and the Deepak Pareek audience.
So when I was in that streaming era of YouTube.
Yes,
right? I used to stream.
Oh, wow.
And I've always been into gaming. I love playing games.
Have you been played?
Oh,
have you been
whole
played?
Whole other discussion. But you're not really playing if you've never been played.
Oh well. This is part 2 of the Sid Warrior podcast.
I mean, you gotta give it and you gotta take it. So that's just the way it is.
We'll get to that later.
But when I was in that phase, I thought I need a really good gaming desktop.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I thought without this, my YouTube career isn't really going anywhere.
How true were you?
And I'll be honest, I was generous.
You were generous.
I was generous.
That's a fancy word again, doctor.
I was generous. I was optimistic.
Yeah.
And I went for it. You know, I got a really good PC.
Okay.
Right? And
that cost how much?
More than it should have.
1 Bitcoin.
1 point something.
Oh, well.
No, so I went for it.
We need to put a disclaimer here. The thoughts expressed here are just of the authors and nobody else's.
Yes. Management does not take responsibility. But the thing is, it looks really good. Okay. But now it is majorly used as a source of an LED light in my studio. Because the CPU has some really good lighting.
Oh, but the lighting that is used for background for your reels, is that the CPU? Is that the CPU?
You never know.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Some next level scamming going on here. Awesome. What kind of movies do you watch?
Wow. So when I was growing up,
I
used
and
to...
chill?
Yes.
What kind of movies? Again,
I love that you started off with my introduction as a husband and now you're like, do Netflix and chill? Yeah, all right.
We'll get there.
The chill hour, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely candid. Anyway, yeah.
So I used to like horror movies, when I was growing up, and I used to like a lot of drama and all. Interestingly, nowadays I predominantly enjoy really relaxed movies.
Like
comedies,
name a few
it could be
you
mainly
watched
stand-up, man. Like it's just stand-up. I love watching stand-up. I have not.
Do you think you have that in you?
Yes, it's on my list. I need to do it. I've written
I would
scripts.
love to shake hands with you.
Yeah.
I have not yet written scripts.
Yeah.
But I'm right there. Like I would want to pursue it. Not like pursue it. I just want to give it a try.
Yeah, same here.
Because like when I'm sure this happens with you also when you're giving talks at colleges.
Yeah.
I like to have a lot of fun in colleges, man. Like I love college events.
You're roasting them.
I am roasting them.
Making
like
fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like making fun of them, and people also in turn make fun of you. So you as a host or as a speaker, you have the mic.
Yeah.
Similar to a comedian having a mic.
Right.
And then if somebody roasts you while you're performing,
You need to bring them down.
you need to bring them down.
Yep.
Or you need
Can't
to
have hecklers.
level it. You can't have hecklers.
Nope.
Go deep on that.
It's the same principle of a performer and an audience. Like the audience comes with its own power structure, the
Yes.
performer comes with its own power structure.
Right.
If there is too much of
Do you
inequality,
think that's what I'm saying? Do you think the power structure is equal there with the speaker and that of an audience?
yes.
Yes?
Yes. If there is too much of inequality,
Yeah.
neither of the audience wouldn't enjoy it.
Okay.
It's very interesting that
Okay.
you still need to feel like an equal. So you might be worshipping the person on stage,
Yeah.
but you also know that they are there because of you.
I think I have a very strong reservation about commitment.
Okay.
And it's not as heavy as it sounds, but I just feel that not just a relationship in terms of a romantic relationship, but I think friendship is the biggest commitment you can ever make.
Oof.
What's your
That's
thought?
true.
What's your thought?
A friendship where that person who you're friends with has certain expectations from you, and if you feel that you are not able to bear that expectation, that is a terrible weight to carry around.
How do you let go of that weight?
So
If you
the-
want to let go, if you're not able to say carry that weight,
Yeah.
because it has happened with me,
Yeah.
also very recently,
Yeah.
and people have had expectations where they want to call, they want to text, they want to talk,
Yeah.
they want time basically, and
They want attention.
Okay,
It's not even time.
what's the difference here? Break it
Like
down.
they want acknowledgement. They want attention. They want to be seen and heard.
Okay,
And if you can pay focused attention for some time, that might actually work more than distracted
Okay.
attention for an hour,
got it.
which is interesting. But please
Yes,
carry
yes,
on. Yeah.
yes. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That actually answers the question actually, because I was going where there are people who will say ki, oh, I was expecting a call from you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was expecting a text if I land, say if I'm traveling from Bombay to Calcutta.
Yeah.
I just expect you to say landed
Landed. Yeah.
or taking off.
Or if they are going home, like, have you reached?
Have you reached?
Or if
Or
you are going
I've-
home,
I've
yeah,
reached
I reached
home.
Yeah.
But then this just stems from the point of commitment, right?
Yeah.
I'm being very honest on camera,
Sure, yeah.
that I'm at this point in time where I'm not from Bombay, so I've moved to Bombay 7-8 months back.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about this off camera as well. I'm at this point where I have to make things happen for me professionally, right? And there are things happening in the personal life as well where maybe some friends are demanding attention, not time.
Yeah.
And I am not able to give that much attention.
Yeah.
Who takes the burden? Who takes this burden? Is it me being clear with them कि यार अभी मेरे पास time नहीं है, अभी मेरे पास मतलब I'm already packed with a lot of things.
Yeah.
I won't be able to give that much time. Do I stay clear, or them having that expectation कि यार मतलब I thought you will give me time, but now you don't.
So there are two ways to look at this. Okay?
Please go deep on that.
Number one is sometimes we procrastinate on difficult conversations, hoping that things will sort themselves out, and they never do.
पानी चाहिए.
They
Okay.
never do.
Okay.
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 So there are some difficult conversations that you kind of need to have, right? And if you keep procrastinating on it, that
Things get worse.
it can get worse. It can blow up, right? So that's one thing. At
Okay.
least you cannot procrastinate conversations with yourself.
You cannot.
You have to
Okay.
have that talk with yourself. Like you need
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
clear
Oh,
on
yes, yes, of
what
course.
is it that you want? What is it that you are trying to do? Even if you're not telling the other person, before you tell the other person, you need to have that talk with yourself.
Okay, breaking you there. What if you're not sure what you want?
Sure. So then you need to have more conversations. The
Okay.
answer is always time plus conversations.
Wow, that's a
Right.
tweet.
Yeah.
ये तो tweet कर देते.
ये तो tweet. Can
मोहित
we-
भाई
can
कर
we
दो यार,
remember this?
कुछ लिख भी लो यार, कुछ तो tweet कर दो भाई.
And
Anyway.
the other thing
Wow.
is that when you're talking to somebody,
Yeah.
what are they afraid of? They're not really afraid of losing you.
Okay.
As much as, it might be good for the ego to believe that they're afraid of losing us.
Yeah.
It's not that. They're afraid
Okay.
of rejection.
Okay.
Right? So when you tell somebody that you don't have time to spend with them, it's not that, oh, Deepak is so busy. No, it's like Deepak is too busy for me. So it's
but
rejection.
I'm not. Because I've made it clear with two people.
Sure, but that's not what they're hearing.
Oh.
Because you will always hear the thing that you're afraid of.
Right.
Always, right?
Wow.
You will always be, you're looking out for evidence to prove that your fears are true. And so if there is a subconscious fear that, oh, this person is too cool to hang out with me,
Right.
Any sign that you give that points slightly in that direction is evidence for that. And like, I knew it.
Oh.
I knew it. I knew Deepak doesn't really want to hang out with me. So now it's personal.
यार तो मैं क्या करूं? What am I supposed to do? I don't know.
I love how heartfelt that was.
तो मैं क्या करूं? It's the chill hour, guys. I don't know what to do. That's why I've called the doctor on the first few episodes कि बता दो यार क्या करना चाहिए.
So
what do I do?
The way out is there's always a way of having a conversation without rejecting. You know, because the way I see it now, I see everybody on the spectrum of threat. Like how threatened are you by anything? So what is threatening you? What are you afraid of? So if you keep asking that question, that where are they on that threat spectrum and what are they afraid of, you're able to navigate that conversation much more easily. Just try this out. The next time you're having a conversation, instead of thinking of what you are concerned with, just think about it from the perspective of what are they afraid of.
Okay.
Because everybody is afraid of something.
Okay.
So when they're having a conversation with you, they're afraid of something. And that fear is what is driving their conversation forward.
Okay.
So if you are aware of what is it that is
so are you saying fear drives action?
100%.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Fear drives action.
Yes. More than love, more than hunger, fear drives most of the things that we do.
Interesting.
Because it's the most primitive motivational force. Right. Next to hunger and love or attraction, fear is probably the most important one.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, I love how we went from...
Yeah, and...
Wow, we went all the way to the beginnings of biology.
No structure here, sir. It's absolutely unfiltered, unscripted, raw.
Crazy.
I want to quickly switch gears to college love. And this is a very interesting topic for my audience, I'm sure. And you also discuss love, relationships, hormones, and how does the brain react to all of these things in your content as well. When was the first time you fell in love? And mind you, we're not talking about infatuation, we're talking about love.
So it's a very interesting thing. I found love to be a retrospective diagnosis.
थोड़ा सा break कर दो.
So you know how in medicine, when we come across a particular disease, and I'm not saying love is a disease.
You just said that. Dr. Sid Warrier on the Chill Hour episode has mentioned that love is a disease. I sincerely hope Mrs. Warrior is listening to this podcast, and I will make sure that this reaches her.
She's
and I will make sure that this reaches to a lot of Mr. Warrior's previous lovers, if there have been any.
So that the good thing is she's also a doctor. She's done her MD medicine, so she knows what I'm talking about. Damn it.
Plan fail ho gaya.
Yeah. Nice try though. Nice try. But when you see something on the first day, first sight, you might not really know what this is.
Okay.
Right. So you might make a wrong diagnosis. You might think that, oh, this looks like malaria.
Oh wow! I really liked how we just went. I'm on love. He's on malaria. Fantastic. But we could use this as the first 3 seconds of the intro. Anyway,
so you think I have fever. I can't sleep. I keep thinking about how I would want to get better.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, this could be malaria, but then it could also be leptospirosis. Or it could be love. You never know.
Oh, wow.
So what I mean by retrospective diagnosis is that when you're going through infatuation, when you're going through a crush, You can't call it love.
Okay, let me quickly shift to my main question here.
Sure.
When do you know when you're in love?
All right.
This is a reel, guys.
All right.
This is a reel. When do you know when you're in love?
Now, of course, because of the way language is structured, anybody could use the word love and apply it to any emotion that they want to.
Sure.
That's fine.
Sure.
And the spectrum is so broad. Like maternal love is very different from national love, patriotic love, romantic love.
Right.
But for me, love is when you get hurt when they get hurt.
Oof. You're not a Bollywood fan?
I am.
Looks like.
But I'm a Bollywood fan at heart. I haven't seen that. But yeah.
Sorry,
so
carry on.
That's my definition of love. That you get hurt when they get hurt.
Okay.
And it's easier to say that you get happy when they get happy.
But you're not actually.
But I feel that pain is a lot more real than pleasure.
Interesting. Can you break that down, please? Because when you speak about pain, when you get hurt, if they get hurt, which could be a possibility if you have that much, if you're a little more emotional. But it's not so much with, say, happiness or success. Say if somebody else succeeds and you're happy in their success, that does not happen necessarily, or does it?
No, of course it does. By that I mean when you start considering their life as an extension of your own.
Okay.
You consider their body as an extension of your own, their emotions as an extension of your own.
Got it.
So whatever they are feeling, you are feeling as well. So love with that definition is like the epitome of empathy.
Okay.
So
Fair.
it starts off as empathy that,
Fair.
oh, I care about you and I hope that you're okay. And that empathy goes on increasing to a point where if you are hurt, then I feel pain.
Right.
I'm not just like, oh, that's too bad. It's I feel pain. Like I feel like I am suffering because you are suffering. For me, that is love. Now you can put that into any context, right?
Okay.
So maternal love is that if the child falls, the mom runs like, oh no, your mom starts crying.
Yeah.
Similarly, national love, patriotic love. If somebody insults your country, you get insulted, right? So you can take that in different contexts. But for me, love is that. Love is a merging of identities. You become more than who you are. That other person or that other concept becomes a part of you.
Got it.
So love is, in that way, it is a neuroplastic process. Your brain changes in love.
Okay.
Literally, physically. Your brain changes in love. The networks change in love.
Interesting. Circling back to my main question. When was the first time you fell in love?
Yeah, so the reason I started with retrospective diagnosis was that officially the first time I fell in love was when I met my girlfriend, who's now my wife.
So just once.
So that I thought that was the first time I fell in love, but I realized later that I had a friend in school who is still one of my best friends.
Right.
And there was love there. It's just that when you are in school, you don't often understand what that is, what that feeling is.
Right.
The good thing is that there is no conflict.
Okay.
So I'm not somebody who believes that you can only love one person.
Okay.
That biochemically,
wow, this is interesting.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Right? What I do believe is that there are certain boundaries that you can only cross with one person because that's the way that society is structured.
Yes.
And I can understand why. Right? So there are, all of that makes sense separately. But biochemically, I think it's when you feel that feeling for somebody, if you want, you can call it love. If you want, you can call it best friendship. But if I go by my definition, if that person gets hurt, will I get hurt? If the answer is yes, then there is love.
Okay. Is it sacrosanct? Is it applicable in all cases, irrespective?
Now, we decide if it's sacrosanct or not, right?
Okay.
So, for me, this definition has been very useful.
So, you must have seen this applicable in a lot of cases?
Yes. So, it's like an acid test for me.
Got it.
A litmus test for me.
Litmus test, yes. Interesting. So, Sid, how much do you make? यार बताओ यार, the audience want, जनता जानना चाहती है Sid Warrior की balance sheet.
I mean, I used to make a lot more. Then I started spending on desktops.
That's a good answer. We were speaking about stand-up comedy. That's a test right there. How much do you? How do you invest? Do you invest at all?
I do.
How do you invest?
The old-fashioned way, mainly.
So equity?
Equity, mutual funds. The first week of every month, I have a list of some 15 stocks that I have kind of grown attached to. And so the first week of every month, I would put in.
Do you have a fund manager who tells you कि यार Sid bro ये यहाँ डाल दे ये stock बड़ा होने वाला है?
I do not. I have a lot of friends who are traders, so I keep talking to them about it, learning stuff about it. I've learned enough about options and futures to never in my life do it.
Wow.
I will never do it.
Interesting.
Definitely not. But having a stop loss is a great.
Yeah.
Right. But in general, I don't do day trading. I did that for 6 months, glorious 6 months. Got a lot out of it, lost a lot out of it. So I'm done with that. So no more day trading for me.
Do you listen to finfluencers?
Yeah, I do. I love.
What's your take?
Oh, it's great, man. Like there are so many useful things that you learn. Of small things, right? Like car loans, house loans, so small things that you wouldn't really know yourself. And I find it excellent. I love the information that's out there.
Interesting.
What about you? I mean, you're one of them, right?
I'm not.
You are sometimes.
Oh wow.
Sometimes.
So, okay, let me clarify on
this
camera.
This is very confusing. Like, who is Deepak?
I know. Oh wow. If it is not clear after 4.5 years of creating content, then I should just like shut shop.
No, it's
go back
great.
to Cal.
I think it's great.
Do something.
Because you tick so many boxes.
Yeah. I do. So that's a good way of putting it. So I essentially create. If I had to put myself in a box, which I don't want to, but if I had to, then it would be self-help, personal growth, productivity.
Sure.
Do you meditate?
I do, yes.
What's your meditation process?
So, the way I do is there's something called Neuromeditation, which just seems very natural to me.
Is there neuro in every? You can put neuro in everything, and that makes sense.
Yes, for me it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense for me because the way Neuromeditation works is that
we'll talk about neuromarketing also after this.
Sure. Yeah. So the way Neuromeditation works is that you're sitting comfortably, and you're essentially going back to the basic reality of what your body is.
Okay.
Right. So I feel all day. 24 hours, when all your waking hours, you are constantly living this narrative.
Okay.
This idea of who you are, your identity.
Right.
This is my name, this is who I am, this is my dreams, my aspirations, my goals. Everything is outward. Everything is, outside in the world.
Right.
But you forget that you are a collection of cells and neurons and chemicals that are working together to achieve a biological purpose.
True.
Right?
True.
So for me, neuromeditation just connects me back to that undeniable reality, because that is reality. Right. So I start off with just sensing where I am. I sense the ground under me, I sense the back, I sense the wall, I sense the air that I'm breathing, and then because I know anatomy, I can literally travel the nerves and sort of go up.
Oh wow.
And then I've reached my chest. Okay, I'm breathing. I sense the muscles, I sense the heart beating, I can sense the blood going up. So you are kind of visualizing yourself as a biological creature, which is who you are. But you forget that most of the time.
Right.
In fact, you never think of yourself as a biological creature unless something goes wrong.
Okay.
You never think of your bones until they hurt.
Oh yes.
You never think of your stomach until you get acidity, for example. Right. But it's there. It's working all the time. So just being aware of that grounds me. And being aware that, all right, so these are the neurochemicals that are working. These are my hopes, but those hopes are triggered by these networks.
Right.
And just bringing myself down to that level and then going back to everyday life just seems to make a lot more sense.
What's the starting process of somebody who's never meditated in life?
Yeah.
How can they start very quickly, and what kind of benefits do you see?
So the main benefit is that your fears reduce.
Okay.
That's the main one.
Okay.
Because from a biological perspective, your amygdala, which is your part of your limbic system, which is your old emotional part of the brain, and which is responsible for threat detection.
Okay.
Which is constantly looking around to see if something is about to hurt me or not.
Right.
And that amygdala activation is the core feature of a lot of these psychological disorders.
Okay.
Like ADHD or like obsessive compulsive disorder.
Right.
Like anxiety, panic attacks. So uncontrolled amygdala activation is a part of it, which is why meditation is advised in all of these disorders.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So even if you're not suffering from one of them, meditation will still help you. Meditation still makes your life easier because we are constantly threatened.
Okay.
All the time. We are always looking to see if, is there something, is something wrong or something. Even the reason that we constantly keep scrolling on Instagram is partly uncontrolled amygdala activation. You are always looking to see, is something else there? Is something else there? So there's a notification. Oh, is it something important?
Right.
You cannot calm down.
Why are we not able to focus?
That's exactly. This is because of that.
Okay.
Right? Because focus, it's not actually a problem with focus. Your brain is constantly confused to see if there's something else that is more worthwhile focusing on. So you're never distracted. You are just looking for other things that you should be focusing on more than this.
Okay.
Right? So distraction is a misnomer. You are not distracted.
Wow. Interesting. This is interesting.
Right? So that's what meditation helps. Meditation just calms your amygdala down. And so you are less likely to get caught up in that loop of searching, is there something else or something else. It just slows you down. And you are able to pay attention to whatever it is in front of you for longer times.
Got it. Interesting. एक सेकंड ऑडियो देख लो एक बार ऑडियो चल रहा है ना चलो ठीक है कूल कंटिन्यू करें देख लो एक बार सही है cool you've been on a lot of podcasts right my simple search on YouTube would tell me would give me that data what have you not talked about ever or what have you not talked about what are some of the questions that people have never asked you and you'd like to discuss them.
Wow,
this is the chill hour.
Yeah,
this is the chill hour.
But that's not a chill question because that's a.
It'll give you chills.
A tricky one.
It'll give you chills.
So we haven't talked about finances much actually because a lot of conversations that I've been on were on relationships or neuroscience or spirituality.
Right.
So finances is not something that I've spoken about on podcasts, although we have done an entire workshop on neuromarketing.
Yes.
But I've never explored that on a podcast before. So that is interesting. Like for example, branding and consumerism. So we haven't really touched upon that.
We can touch upon consumer psychology if you want.
That'll be great. Yeah. I love that topic.
Yeah. What else?
We haven't. So we have touched upon Bhagavad Gita for sure. But there is so much to talk about Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. There is Gita GPT. Do you know that?
So much. Yes, I know.
Wow. Gita GPT.
It's crazy.
What's happening?
It's insane. So when you look at, I do this thing, okay? Do you have a Bhagavad Gita here? By any chance?
I don't.
So I do this thing where you randomly open up the Bhagavad Gita on any page.
Okay.
All right. And this is like pattern recognition at its most primitive.
Right.
You think of your mood. Okay. You think of how are you feeling today.
Right.
And you will feel something.
Right.
You open Bhagavad Gita and you read whatever verse there is.
Right.
And you start thinking about it.
Right.
And eventually patterns will form and you will come up with an answer. Wow. And it's fascinating to me how that happens.
It's great because when I have not read the Bhagavad Gita entirely, I've read a couple of shloks and verses here and there.
Yeah.
And मतलब जो लिखा है, like you correctly pointed out, कोई भी random page खोलो, read whatever's written.
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense with whatever's going on in your life right now.
Correct.
And you just go back connecting that verse to your entire life.
Yeah.
कि oh yes ये हुआ है मेरे साथ, oh yes ये मेरे साथ हुआ है, oh yes मेरे साथ हुआ है. That's
I
interesting.
love it. Like there when I read it, I did an entire series of neuroscience of Bhagavad Gita, which was essentially me trying to connect whatever is written in the book with my existing knowledge of neuroscience.
Right.
And Deepak, you won't believe it. I could make sense of around 70% of the book with existing neuroscience knowledge.
Wow.
So there were quotes in that book that talks about pleasure and how pleasure is directly related to the senses. And it's word to word a similar explanation to what I can find in a neuroscience textbook. It is that good.
Word to word.
Yeah, like so
I get it. Yeah.
Right, like so the idea of how most of our motivations come from pleasure and that pleasure circuit, which is basically the dopamine circuit in the brain, is directly connected to the senses. So all of our pleasures are sensual, which means senses related.
Right.
So it's either taste or smell or touch or sight or sound.
Right.
So all of those things are senses related.
Of course.
And if we can't find them, we will imagine them. So even if you imagine eating a chocolate cake,
right,
that imagination, if it's good enough,
uh-huh,
it will trigger your taste systems. It will trigger your
Wow.
taste networks, which will in turn trigger dopamine. So that is what is motivating you. You are motivated by your senses, which is what the Gita says. Stop being motivated by your senses.
okay,
Your motivation should be outside of your senses. Your motivation should be more than your senses. And that is so difficult because none of us are able to do that.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
So I find it very useful just reading Bhagavad Gita and thinking about what it's saying.
Okay, so you've mentioned finance, you've mentioned consumerism, so you
Yes.
mentioned consumer psychology is
Yeah.
one, and you mentioned Gita.
Yeah.
What else?
What else?
What else have you never spoken about? And or maybe this is, of course, you could also talk about your personal life where you've not spoken about a few angles, and you'd love the audience to know that, okay, Sid Warrior, I don't think a lot of people know that you're a poet. Do they know? I'm sure they know. They've seen.
Some of them know.
They've
Yes.
seen, but not. Do you remember anything that's in the top
I've
of your
never
head?
discussed it on a podcast before. That's true. I've never discussed poetry on podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, I would actually love that.
Awesome. Let's get into it. What's your writing process? How do you come up with ideas? Because when I write,
Yeah. Do you write poems as well?
I've done a couple of poems. It's out there on my
Alright.
YouTube. One of them is called Sapne. One of them is called, I recreated the entire Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara Ka, the poem.
Oh,
It's called
wow.
To Zinda Ho Tum.
Yeah.
I recreated that in my own, whatever I thought
Yeah.
could be. And then there are like one or two more, but I don't know, like my writing is very like here and there. It's not structured, so to say.
Okay.
So how do you think about it? How do you write it? Or do you write in blank verse, or do you write it like in proper rhyming?
Always you should write in rhymes.
Okay.
Because I grew up with the idea that that's what poetry meant.
Okay.
And then I explored a lot of other structures. So I
Right.
explored, I looked up the entire list of poetry subtypes. And there were some 115 different types of poems.
Wow.
Like terra rima, and there was, acrostic poems.
Right.
So acrostic poems are when the first letter of each line makes a word.
Wow.
So those are called acrostic poems.
Acrostic poems.
Yeah, acrostic.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
Yeah, and I wrote an acrostic poem on acrostic poems.
Mr. Warrior.
It was really fun.
I'm sure it sounds very fun.
Yeah.
It sounds very fun.
I spent a year just exploring different types of poems.
Right.
And I tried different rhyme schemes.
Right.
I tried meter and syllable counting,
Okay.
which is really difficult. Because
Wow.
every line, so that's how Shakespeare writes. So in a sonnet, every line
Yeah,
has
yeah.
14 syllables.
Right.
And so there are 4, 4, 4 and 2. So that's how a sonnet is
Yeah,
structured.
yeah, true.
And it's A, B, A, B, A, B. So, so I tried to write that. And it's difficult to count syllables in English. So you end up literally like, if you want to say beautiful, it's
Right.
beautiful. But
Right.
that's 3 syllables.
Right.
And hot is 1 syllable. Pretty
Right.
is 2 syllables.
Right.
So when you want to call somebody, you want to praise somebody, do you say hot or pretty or beautiful? Depends on the number of syllables you have in the line. So if you have only 1 syllable left, you have to call them hot. But if you want to call them beautiful, then you have to change the rest of the line.
I want to call them hot, beautiful, and pretty. Three of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's amazing. It's a great exercise. I feel like every poet should learn to count syllables, simply because it
Have you
teaches
learned? Have you learned?
just by myself. There's no professional course for this. I mean, I could have done an MA literature, but I didn't really want to. But I just spent
So
a
this is
lot of time.
self-taught.
Yeah. So the reason it is important to count syllables is because it gives you the idea of brevity. So it teaches you economy of words. It
Right.
teaches you that every word is important. And so how do you choose words becomes very important. Same for English ghazals.
Yes.
Right, so
Yes.
I tried that when I was in Lucknow. I got very inspired by ghazal writing,
Yeah.
and so I tried to write English ghazals, and it was a lot of fun. I love experimenting with poetry.
Wow. What kind of songs do you listen to?
So recently I've started. I know it's a little too late in the game, but I've started exploring EDM and trance.
Never too late.
Never too late,
Never
really?
too late,
Oh,
yeah.
thanks, man. Thanks.
Never
That
too
means
late.
a lot.
Because I'm also late.
Good. I like that.
So never too
That's
late.
excellent. Recently there was Martin Garrix. Martin Garrix was performing in
Yeah.
Bandra, and I had booked I'd booked tickets for that like 4 months back.
Wow.
And I just started listening to EDM for almost like 3 months just to get into that space.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It was amazing.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. What is that one thing that Mrs. Warrior doesn't like about you?
Holy yeah.
Among the lot.
You don't even need to.
Among the lot.
I'll tell you what.
If you are comfortable answering, of course.
The reason I am comfortable is because she answered this on stream once.
Oh really?
So this information is out there. I don't remember which stream it was, but somebody asked her. I'd called her on for something, and somebody asked her what do you not like about him, and she said his enthusiasm.
What? She said that?
I mean, yeah, like that's fair.
Is there a science to it again? Because she's also a doctor, or there's just like layman terms by enthusiasm?
Oh, it's enthusiasm. She basically wants to tell me like, can you calm down?
Oh, really? Well, I have thoughts. I have questions. Sid, what's going on?
So do I. Okay.
Sid, what's going on? Why is she telling you to calm down?
Nah, man. I get really excited about new things. You know. So whenever I pick up something, I go through this phase where I'm obsessed with it.
You also pick the guitar, so you can play the guitar, right?
Yeah. So I go through phases. So I picked up the guitar in college. I played it for like 3 years. I learned it decently well, and then it becomes like a seasonal thing. It's there on my wall.
But as
once a month.
Jab man hua.
Yeah, jab man hua. But when I pick it up, I play it for like 5 hours, 6 hours. So like I learn new songs.
Interesting.
And I practice all of my old songs. So I go through these phases. Now I'm going through a phase of Rubik's Cube.
Oh wow!
And I'm obsessed with it now.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just.
Have you seen like is your YouTube feed just filled
right now? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
filled with how to solve a Rubik's cube in like 10 seconds.
to look. How do you look ahead? How do you hold the cube? So right now my time is 2 minutes 3 seconds.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but
I mean that's great for somebody who can't solve one side of the entire Rubik's cube.
Sure, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Like I remember in when I was a kid, I once tried to solve it and I couldn't for like 5 hours because if you don't know the algorithms, it's
of course.
But once you know the algorithms, it's just you follow the algorithm and it's done.
Right.
But there is so much complexity to it.
Right.
There's so much of cognition to it. So you need to have that 3-dimensional view pat. So I'm fascinated by how you need to change your brain literally to spot those patterns quickly. So and right now I'm going through a Rubik's Cube phase. And this annoys her. It's like
this annoys her.
Yeah, like you just all the time.
Like all the time you're just like
can we have a conversation? No.
Oh wow. Interesting. How can we imbibe curiosity as young folks?
So for me, curiosity has been a driving force for as long as I can remember. I think I identified with that word because it felt like a good reason to do things.
Got it.
As opposed to because somebody told me to, as opposed to because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't do it. Those are all motivations and all valid motivations.
Right.
But it felt like curiosity I liked curiosity being the motivation for action. Much later, I realized that curiosity also has therapeutic value. Like it can solve certain problems like anxiety.
Okay.
So if you are faced with a situation where you are anxious and you're wondering what will happen if I do this, you just flip that question. It's the same question, but I wonder what will happen if I do this versus, I wonder what will happen if I do this. The way you structure that question switches from anxiety to curiosity. So I have always found that if you are curious, your brain approaches a problem differently.
Okay.
Because now it's more analytical. It is more logical.
For example, give me an example.
Like for example, if you're giving an exam. Okay, so I'm giving this example because it is the most anxiety related situation.
Yeah, fair.
All students have to go through it.
Fair.
Right? Now.
Or a proposal.
Sure.
Or a proposal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So the reason anxiety happens is because you are really worried about the outcome. Right?
Fair enough.
Now you switch that, and I know it's easier said than done, but if you switch that to curiosity about the outcome, I wonder what she'll say if I propose. I wonder what she'll say.
Got it.
And if she says yes, oh, that means I did everything right. If she says no, oh, that means I did something wrong. So now it becomes a learning thing. So curiosity changes anxiety into a learning opportunity, and it's across the board. Same thing for exams. Like, okay, I've studied so much. I wonder how much can I score with this much knowledge.
Got it.
Because of course, with more knowledge you will score more. But how much can you score with this much knowledge? Now it's a game. Now it's something to figure out that मुझे इतना आता है, but इतने में से मैं कितना निकाल सकता हूँ. So I have found curiosity to be that difference. So if you go through life with that kind of attitude, I feel like more doors open up, more opportunities come up, which anxiety actually prevents you from seeing.
Okay.
It's just an experiment that you have to run by yourself.
But you know what happens, Sid? क्या होता है ना, जैसे I was never a reader, right? I used to never read and I used to despise books.
Okay.
कि यार मतलब एक तो the length of the book, the width of the book used to despise me. कि यार क्या, like how am I supposed to read 600 pages, right? And I don't know, like I have this curiosity that I want to become a reader, and I want to grasp that knowledge that the book gives me, and I start reading, and I just like it's very seasonal,
right?
And I was curious, but this exercise is not very friendly for me, and I just quit reading.
Yeah.
How do you? My follow-up would be, how do you maintain the curiosity?
Right. So curiosity is always an
and
answer
if you want
to a
if you want to like bring in science or neuroscience here, go ahead.
I will. So curiosity is always an answer to a question.
Yes.
So you need to build that curiosity. It doesn't come. I mean, it can come inbuilt, but then most likely you'll have to build that curiosity. For example, if you give me a book on geology and rocks, I have no interest in geology right now.
100%.
Right now.
Right.
Now I start watching videos or I start having conversations about why our architecture style is the way it is.
Right.
And why we are living in houses like this right now. Because these kind of, like say, basalt and limestone are available in these areas, and so that is why our marble tops and our houses are built like this. And so we connect that topic to the world that we are living in, to our lived experiences. Now suddenly there's a purpose. Why do I care about this? If I don't care about that, it has nothing to do with me. But if I care about it, now I'm answering a question, because that question will pop up naturally.
Got it.
So you need to build, you need to grow till that question. For you to be curious about the next topic. If you are not finding any connection between that topic and you, that means that you have not grown there. So I don't believe that we are meant to be curious about everything. That is a misnomer. I don't think we should. We should be curious about our immediate surroundings. But if you are curious enough, then you will keep on growing.
So like when you entered, you're like, oh, this setup is nice, this mic is here, this camera is here, this light is here.
The reason that I was curious about all this is because I am answering those same problems at my place.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have reached till here. No other doctor you bring here who is not into content creation would care which mic it is.
100%, of course.
Why would they care? Because for them, this is just an object. It doesn't have a name.
Yeah, and I've seen that curiosity in myself also. Like whenever I'm going to podcasts, so this is something that we've started very recently, right? And when I used to go to podcasts, and I still go to podcasts, I see how things are placed.
Right.
I'm like, oh, ये light ऐसे place किया है. अच्छा ये light कहाँ से लिया?
Right.
ये mic कहाँ से लिया?
You're always learning. But if an interior designer comes here, they are looking at lamps.
Yeah.
They are looking at color of the
sofa, the wall.
They might say that you should have told me to wear a black t-shirt. Because of the contrast with this.
Oh yeah, I should have.
Like it depends on what your mind is looking for.
Right.
So when you said neuroscience of curiosity, basically that's what it is. Neuroscience of curiosity is that against a blank background, what are the things that pop out? So same photograph, different people will see different things depending on what they like. So if there is a big photo of a guy and a girl in a park playing something, and there are kids around and there are birds around. Now if an ornithologist or a bird watcher would immediately spot the bird, like, oh, see a kingfisher. Right. A mom would see that, oh, look, the kid is playing near the water, like, be careful. Like, it depends on what you are looking for that you will see. So that's what curiosity does. So the more things you're curious about, the more of life you will see. Essentially.
Interesting.
And that's the beauty of curiosity.
Wow. That answers a lot of questions actually, because I think बहुत सारे college students हैं जिनको ये जानना है कि यार मतलब, and this is also on the internet that not a lot of people are searching about the why for things, and that's why I recommend people reading this book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It's fantastic, right? Let's come to things that you do a bunch of things together. Do you think time management is a myth? How do you manage time? How do you prioritize things? Is it there on the calendar like the age-old things? Do you have a to-do list? How was Dr. Sid Warrior able to tell me that we are shooting this at 3 p.m. today?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to tell what time we are shooting at all, because time management is not a myth. Time is a misunderstood concept.
Okay. Wow.
So when you say it is 1 minute, that is actually meaningless. Because what is 1 minute for you is not 1 minute for me. What is 1 minute for you now is not 1 minute for you 2 hours later.
Fair enough.
So our perception of time, our acknowledgement of time differs depending on your brain's chemical state.
Got it.
So the example that I use is 1 minute for you and 1 minute for the flash. Is that different? It's still 1 minute.
Makes sense.
But what is the flash able to do in 1 minute?
Yeah.
Is that your equivalent of 1 minute? No,
of course
right?
Not. Of course
because
not.
The flash is able to see that much more, process that much more, and do that much more in that same 1 minute. So if it can be so different, then how are we even comparing?
Got it.
And that might be an extreme comparison, but why can't there be small little deviations between all of us? Right? So that's why I feel that time is a misunderstood concept. Time actually comes under both physics and neuroscience. So time on paper versus perceived time are two very different things.
Okay.
So when we do derivatives like dx by dt, time is different. And when we say that kitna time hua, is very different, because for us, our perception is different. So when we say time management, we are actually talking of attention management.
Okay.
This differentiation has to be made. You cannot manage time.
Okay.
Time is an abstract concept.
ठीक है.
What you can manage is your attention. And as you manage your attention, time will expand and contract. So the more attention you are paying on something, the more time you are eking out of every unit time.
Got it.
Okay, so when you are focusing attention on something, you are able to get more time out of it. So you are able to get more done in that same amount of time.
Right.
So always look at attention management. Forget about time.
Got it. Interesting. I have this debate, or I have this constant debate between time management and energy management.
Oh, interesting.
Where I keep on saying कि यार मतलब अगर मेरे को किसी से मिलना है, say I had to meet you, right? And I'll tell you, or say you want to meet me, ठीक है? You keep on messaging me कि bro, let's meet tomorrow at 5 o'clock, or let's meet tomorrow at 6 o'clock, whatever. And I'll say I don't have time, which is incorrect.
Yeah.
Because you can never not have time. You make time.
Correct.
Right? Your schedule, आपका schedule बना हुआ है, right? You have schedules from say 7 in the morning till about 2 in the night.
Yeah.
Right? But if I want to manage my energy in such a way that I know if I meet Sid, it's good for my energy, and I will make time for Sid at that point in time. So I prioritize like energy management over time management.
Interesting.
So what's your take on that?
That's a great way of saying it, because I love the description.
Yeah.
There are, as a scientific discussion, there are question marks around what do you mean by energy.
Energy, yeah, of course.
That's a scientific discussion.
Yeah. Colloquially is what I meant.
Colloquially, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have the energy. So that's actually technically correct.
हिम्मत नहीं है मेरे को. हाँ, हिम्मत ही नहीं है.
You can never say that.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Bro, कल 5 बजे मिलना है क्या? Bro,
हिम्मत नहीं है. Yeah, why can't we say that? Like, why can't we say कि यार अब हिम्मत नहीं है यार मिलने का तेरे से? Because you drain my energy. Like, I don't know, man. Why can't we do that?
That is such a solid point, because there are people who will drain you.
Yeah, I mean,
and you have to be.
I think
There is a concept in Harry Potter, right?
Okay.
Of, I forgot what's the thing. Like people who can
I
take
am
thoughts.
not a Potterhead, so I don't know.
Oh, you're not a Potterhead.
I mean,
I've read it a long time ago. People will let me. Like people who can listen to other people's thoughts and kind of drain them. There's also a concept called necromancy.
Okay.
Like we're in the realm of science fiction now.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
or fantasy fiction.
Okay.
So necromancy is when people can drain somebody else's life energy to improve your own lifespan. So it's kind of like the original vampire story.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I found that really fascinating, because you do meet people who, after you've spent 2 hours with them, you're just like, you feel
like,
tired. You feel
That's
tired.
what we do.
Yeah, because you have to manage their emotional swings
Yeah.
without them managing yours. So you are constantly making sure that they're okay, and they are going through that roller coaster, and that is exhausting, because you have to constantly.
Yeah. This makes so
think.
much sense.
You have to constantly
But
think
how
of
can we-
kya bolu, kya nahi bolu, and that is exhausting.
Yeah.
And you come back home thinking, okay, you just spent a lot of time
Yeah.
and energy making sure somebody else is okay.
Right.
And if that is not worth it for you, you don't want to meet them again.
But how can we solve for this, man? Like, कैसे solve करें? Because I'm meeting Mohit, the guy who's my team member, right?
Yes.
अब मैं मोहित से मिल रहा हूँ, मैं मोहित को बोल रहा हूँ कि मोहित यार 4 बजे आ जा, क्योंकि 5 बजे सिड के साथ शूट है. If I am not comfortable with Mohit, I will not keep him in my team. ठीक है, अब मैं ऑनेस्टली बोल रहा हूँ, ठीक से काम करना, ठीक है ना? If I am not comfortable with Mohit, I will not keep him in my team, because if I feel that he's not adding any value, and if I'm not that comfortable, and this is an industry where you need trust, right? If I don't trust him with a lot of things, I won't be able to work with him, right? But if I'm constantly thinking about the other person's emotional roller coaster that's going on, will I be ever at peace?
No, you wouldn't.
How do you manage that?
Because you need to have. This is a very big question, but you need you need to have solid ground under you. Right? You need to be able to process information around you and be able to respond to them in a good way.
Right.
Cognitive fatigue kicks in if you have been working for too long. And hanging out with somebody who's on an emotional roller coaster all the time is work. It is proper work.
Interesting.
Right? It's like trading. You can't trade 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, ऊपर गया, oh, बेच दे. अच्छा खरीद, अच्छा बेच, अरे stop. You are constantly thinking about them.
Yeah.
You can't do that for too long. You can do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it for a long time, you have to really question what are you getting out of it.
Yeah. Do you think conversation will help? I think conversation is
very honest.
I have a very simple philosophy in life where
बात करो.
There's nothing in the world that a good conversation can't solve.
So a conversation,
good or maybe obviously an honest conversation.
At least a conversation can get you to a point where you know that further conversation is not
is required
useful,
or not. Oh yes.
Because again, I don't think that you are meant to get along with everybody in the world. That is a misnomer again. You don't need to get along with everybody. As long as you can coexist and you tu tera kaam kar, main mera kaam karta hu, then it's fine.
Should be good.
Yeah. It's exactly. So this idea of wanting to be liked by everybody. Or wanting to
content creators speaking about
I'm
being liked.
No, it's true though, because you cannot think of how. Wait, why aren't 10 million people following me? Why aren't 10 million people liking what I'm saying? That's just your ego creating narrative after narrative, right? Not everybody who likes your content needs to follow you. Not everybody who needs to like your content, like your other content.
Right, of course.
Of course. So everybody comes into your life, takes whatever they want, and they can leave or they can stay. Just like how you are doing it with other people's lives. Right? So that it is society is a constant flux. So when I see it, I don't take these things personally, and that helps. We when you say that iska kya kare, you talk, man. You say, you just have that conversation.
I think this makes a lot of sense here, because like honestly, I don't think there's anything in the world that a good conversation can't solve or good communication can't solve. It has to be
Now the challenge is that is it a casual friend or is it a relationship?
Yeah.
Because if it's a relationship, the stakes are different. Although the same principles apply, but the stakes are different in a relationship. Because in a relationship, you will feel like putting in more effort than you would in a friendship. Because there, love has happened, empathy has happened. So you're not letting somebody else go. You're letting a part of yourself go.
Oh yes.
And that hurts.
Yes, that hurts.
That is where a relationship can get toxic.
Wow. I have a lot of questions. I have a lot that we can discuss. We will definitely have a part 2.
Oh, but I don't want to end the conversation in a toxic relationship though. Like tell me one cool thing. Tell me, are you a gamer? Do you play any games at all?
I play sports. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My next question to you would have been this: do you play sports?
Yes. So
what do you play?
I love two kinds of games. Okay. One
Let
is the
me see
board
the
games.
Questions I have.
One is the board games.
Yeah.
I love board games.
Okay.
Right? So started off with Monopoly, Cluedo, Scrabble, chess. Now we are currently playing this game called Ecologies. It's a card game where you have to build different ecosystems, and there are different people who have different ecosystems, and you have to build an entire world basically.
Wow.
And it's incredible. It's a great game.
Wow.
And the other end is physical sports. So that's football, tennis.
Yeah.
Football and tennis
do you
are
play
currently-
football?
Yes.
Do you play?
Yes. So currently those two are the games that I'm playing. I recently joined a tennis coaching because I've been playing tennis for like 3 years, but I realized that my serve is all wrong.
Oh.
So I needed somebody to help.
The first time I played tennis
Yeah.
is when I hit the ball for a 6.
Oh yeah.
Because the cricketer in me
Of course.
rose, and I was like, oh, ये ball तो अच्छा आ रहा है, इसको 6 मारते हैं. And then I realized, no,
the aim is to
not necessarily when it's a tennis ball, you're playing cricket. There are other sports also. Like, calm down.
Yeah. Do you play football?
On and off, yeah.
On and off?
Yeah.
We should make a plan.
For sure.
Done.
I'm game.
Swords.
Couple of fun questions that I have. As a creator, I'm sure we'll do a round 2 of this podcast as well, where I have a lot of other questions in terms of neuroscience and primarily focused on productivity focus and how we can build a system around it. But this is a fun podcast. This is a fun episode to start off with. As a creator, do you find reels cringe?
Some of them, of course. That doesn't mean they're bad, because nothing gets your attention.
Diplomacy नहीं चलेगा इधर.
अरे
अच्छा की
भाई,
खराब.
सही में. Like there are before TikTok got banned, like there were so many TikTok videos which were frankly terrible.
My eyes would bleed.
But
but
even with bleeding,
what have I seen?
Even with bleeding eyes, you still can't look away. You are wondering क्या चल रहा है यार, ये क्या कर रहा है, but you still can't look away, which is incredible. So I feel cringe content has this power. Crazy power of hooking you, man. Like you don't want to see it, but you don't want to not see it.
Like you want to see how does it end?
How bad can it get? Like कहाँ तक जाएंगे? कितने level तक गिरेंगे? Like what is this?
Oh wow!
What is this?
This is interesting. How dude, like
insane.
how? Like I don't know the kind of content that goes around on the internet, and then I see people like just walking, like just from here to here. And it has like 500k likes and
remember there was this whole
views
slew of videos of people slapping each other.
Yeah.
Just boy and girl slap,
and
slap.
it is
everybody dies or whatever.
nothing short of say a logical reasoning question where you're trying to decipher ki hua kya.
Yeah, it's like a maths question.
It is a maths question.
At the end of it, how many slaps were there in this video? Holy shit! कौन गिन रहा था?
Or simply why?
I honestly
why is it happening?
That suddenly there'll be a dog walking by and the girl will slap the dog. What is going on?
I don't know what's going on. Like there are 4-5 people. I remember there are like three guys and 3 girls, and एक point पे दो जन है, एक इसको slap किया, फिर एक इसको slap किया, फिर he falls, and then she slaps him, and then he falls, and then then somebody else comes into the picture, and then he slaps her or she slaps her. I don't know what is this slap fest.
There's a YouTube channel called Lonely Island.
Lonely Island? No, I've not heard of it.
It's who's the guy? Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
What's his name? Adam? No.
I don't remember, but yeah, I get it.
Okay, so he's part of it. It's a band. Okay, so they have they make music videos and skits. So there's a small skit called Dear Sister.
Okay.
And the skit it's absurd, okay, it's surreal, where the characters are in a room and one guy is writing to his sister and the other guy is his friend, and he suddenly shoots him, and this guy shoots the first guy, and then another friend comes in like, hey, do we have any conflicts left, and they shoot him. And then his sister comes in and everybody is dead, and then suddenly all three of them shoot her. And I saw this video and it looked so surreal, but at least they act like it is surreal.
Yeah.
TikTok reels are just like that, but except they talk about it seriously. I don't understand, but it's that's what cringe is.
Oh shit! It's just cringe. How much do you order from Swiggy and Zomato?
Oh wow, that's not fair. I mean, come on.
How much?
Okay.
How much is your wife okay with?
Oh damn. No. So
we'll get to the ratio. We'll get to the ratio.
We have similar taste, so that is good, because sometimes you know what happens. We have like a really healthy dinner. Okay, this is really funny.
I don't like this, man.
No, so we have like salad, and we have like buttermilk and stuff. Okay. Now what happened is, now this is at 8 o'clock, because as you know, we're supposed to have an early dinner.
Yeah.
Now the problem is, हम लोग 10 बजे बैठे कुछ देख रहे हैं, and she looks at me and I look at her.
अब क्या करे?
And then we don't even talk. We're just like, all right,
Swiggy.
What do you want? And she usually goes for this chocolate brownie.
Okay.
And I have my lemon tart. That's my favorite.
Fixed.
Yeah, it's a fixed thing. So it just Swiggy का ऊपर ही वो आ जाता है recommendation.
Frequently
order. Do you want to order again?
Do you want to repeat?
So in like 3 minutes, you're like, okay, done.
Wow. So and they play it out so smartly.
Yeah.
Because they know that you are here in it to repeat the order.
Correct.
Because if you are a retainer customer, and I'm sure most of us are retainer customers of Swiggy and
orders,
Instamart. So like we go there and we are like, matlab, fair enough, like do you want to order this?
Yeah, but it's ridiculous, because to the point where I don't think eating a healthy dinner is worth it. Because I actually end up ordering more.
Yeah. That's the point of it. Like that's the point of a diet.
Exactly. I might as well have like chole bhature or something. Because I know I'll sleep after
because I'm not gonna get up. Like I'm just like, bahut kha liya.
Every time I've had salad, I've regretted the aftermath.
Wow. And of course, I mean, makes sense. Do you work out?
I do, yeah. So I prefer.
How often?
I prefer doing something like adding sports to the week.
Yeah.
Because you don't.
Why have you never invited me to any sporting event or so? Are we not friends?
Oh wow.
Are you trying to say
you will regret this statement? You will be called all the time.
I'm actually looking for a group.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Tennis and football. Tell me.
Tennis, I'll play cricket, but then football, I'm in. I'm in for sure.
So what we usually do is twice a week we go swimming. So me and my wife go swimming twice a week. So that's 2 days done.
Okay, I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah. You like swimming? No.
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
I think the only sport I've never ever, like, there are amidst a lot of sports. I think one of the common sports I've never tried is tennis. Like I've played twice in my entire life.
Oh.
And I found it very interesting.
Badminton?
I've played badminton.
Oh,
I love badminton.
Sorted. So then we can do that.
I used to play badminton very sincerely.
Nice.
And in fact, in our building also, when there are like a lot of people coming in to play together, and there's one court.
Yeah.
And there's always a fight.
Like a tournament, right?
And there's a tournament, and there's a fight कि कौन किसके साथ खेलेगा. And there are not a lot of players who play really well. But I'm saying this on camera. Like, सीखो भाई क्या कर रहे हो?
Sure.
Right? And I'm very competitive. I've realized this one thing about my personality, that I'm very competitive. Very competitive, especially with sport. I'm very competitive. Like I can't play this ऐसे ही.
Right.
Even if I'm going out to a turf to play cricket, I'll make sure that my team wins. Like I'm very, very aggressive, very competitive that way.
As you should be.
Yeah, and I should be. Like that's the intent of the game, right?
Yeah,
and
correct.
even with badminton, like I don't want to like I don't want to do that. Like I really don't want. I really want to play. I play one.
The music was so on point.
Yeah, I mean, it's. And I don't want to do that. So
I'm
really. Yeah, I'm playing to win.
Of course,
for
as
sure.
You should, yeah.
So please, gist of this is please call me.
Of course. So we have a great badminton court at the club. We will.
Oh really?
Yeah. You're so invited.
I would love to be a part of it.
Do you have badminton shoes? Yep. All right. So you have a heads up. You have 1 week to get badminton shoes.
Okay, guys, if brands are listening,
oh yeah, we would love to tag you and sponsor.
Subtle plug-in. If not subtle, this is as direct
you
as it gets.
You literally said brands.
As direct as it gets. Guys, if you are listening, please just send in a couple of pairs of badminton shoes.
Yep.
All right. I think we're almost done. We could end with probably one last question, which is, what's the most useless thing you own? Like, you didn't require it, but
did
you just,
I tell you
still
that
have
I
it.
bought a desktop?
That's the most useless thing and the most expensive thing you own.
Currently, yeah.
We really need to discuss
because
consumer psychology in the next episode.
I would want to.
We'll bring this up for sure.
Yeah, because I still have hopes though. So what happened was,
I love how you answered this.
I
still have hopes.
I got the desktop, right?
Yeah.
And I was playing. I played a few games. I played Cyberpunk, which is terrible. But then what happened was, I got a PlayStation.
Oh.
And it is fantastic.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 5 is just fantastic.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense to me because all of my suddenly new favorite games were there.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
That's in the living room. I have a nice couch. It's all comfortable and you can relax. You know, you have your bag of chips or whatever,
Right.
and then you're playing Ghost of Tsushima. And somehow when you get hooked onto those games, you don't want to come back.
Yeah.
So the only time I still play is when I play first-person shooters because I've never gotten used to shooting on a joystick.
Yeah.
I need the mouse.
Okay.
So if it's like Valorant or Counter-Strike, you prefer that. But otherwise, all games are on PlayStation now.
Sweet.
So currently, the most useless thing is the desktop.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
If somebody wants to buy
most
a really
expensive
good desktop,
and the most useless thing.
let me know.
How unfortunate is that?
I know.
Wow. Last two questions before we wrap this up, Sid.
Yeah, sure. Dude.
Why did you say yes to this podcast?
Well, I don't say no to friends who are who I gain energy from.
All right.
Right. So every time that we have hung out, I've always gone back with more ideas. It's things I should do. Not that I do them, but I still go back with ideas.
Thanks for the information. I really feel good about myself now.
No, but
like
for real,
much better.
I generally I like talking to people. I love conversations, and I like hanging out with people who I can just vibe with.
हाँ, ये तो मैंने आपको बताया था बोलने के लिए. अब आ जाओ रियल आंसर में.
पैसा दिया तुमने. Thanks for that. Thanks for the big fact check.
All right. At least you think I can pay, which is great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, when this thing gets sponsored, I want my share.
What if I tell you it's already sponsored?
God damn. Well done.
Thank you. Anyway, last question. I don't have a question. I want you to ask me one question. And
one question?
Yeah, one question that you feel, anything that's on top of your head, and we'll wrap it up with your question.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question. How much time and effort have you spent on building a physical brand? So when I talk of physical brand, I mean the way you look.
Okay.
On screen, when in public appearances, how much time and effort have you given? How much thought have you given to how you look, how presentable you are?
Great. I'll thank you for asking that question, Sid. And I think I absolutely love the question because you know how guys dress up, right? You know how guys find clothes when they're dressing up. They're like, ऊपर जो है उठा लिया एक t-shirt, एक jeans. Also because we don't have a lot of options.
Sure.
Right?
It's actually not true. I found out very recently there are a lot of options if you look for them. It's just we never ever look for them.
I mean, even then, if you compare it to
sure, if you compare
women
it with women's
and
clothes,
the other clothes, I think you have very limited options.
Yeah.
Anyway, I give a lot of attention to how I look on camera, off camera, the kind of clothes I'm wearing, the kind of shoes I'm wearing, the kind of watches I'm wearing, or maybe if I'm wearing a shorts, am I comfortable wearing shorts or not? If I'm going out, would I be wearing, say, a formal shoes? Would I be wearing a sneakers?
So you do the whole matching.
I do it.
This formal ke saath this shoes, this clothes.
I do.
Yeah.
I recently gave a TED in Raipur, and I was wearing an all black outfit, like black shirt,
with black sneakers, black shoes,
black formals, black socks, black pants, black shirt, black blazer, black watch.
Okay.
black sunglasses. I have other sunglasses also, so black sunglasses.
Alright.
So I give a lot of thought. Plus, I think I have a photogenic face. So I think if I'm not as...
Deepak is so glad that he called me just because I asked this question. He's just like, nobody's asked me this before on screen. Why?
I'm so glad you asked me that question.
I'm getting called back just because of this.
You're getting called back for a couple more questions where I feel good about myself. It's not about your value.
But this is really great. I want. I've been talking to a few people recently about how we are not brought up with the idea of putting in a lot of effort into looking good, and I think girls are more than boys, and that shift needs.
I think
to
it's
happen.
changing. It's changing now.
That.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the episode, Sid.
Of course, man.
Lovely conversation. And if you would like to see a repeat episode with Sid Warrior, please let us know in the comments. One last thing that you'd like to say to our audience watching, ये main camera है, this is the wide frame. इसमें बोल दो whatever you feel about the episode, and who are you going to recommend the chill hour to among your friends?
This is absolutely like Swiggy, like at the end of it, like how was your experience with us? Would you like to rate
this
us
is
on
the customer feedback form.
Would you like to leave a review? So yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this episode. Deepak is a great host with great dressing sense.
Oh my god,
and
totally didn't pay him to say that.
Yeah, but absolutely love to do another one, man. Absolutely, yes. I think the audience, we do share some audiences. I think
Yes, we do.
We have a similar kind of people who are watching us.
Yeah.
So I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and if there are any questions, leave it in the comments.
Deepak Pareek के channel को subscribe करने बोल दो. I have got 3,000 subscribers only now, but we are going
Please
very big on.
subscribe to him. He's
we are going
great.
very big on YouTube now.
And you won't know what he does, because is he a productivity guru? Is he going to help you with finance? You never know. So go do it. Do it now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you like the episode, then you know the drill. Go like, share, subscribe, follow wherever. I'm not on Tinder, Bumble, so don't find me there. But I'm gonna be on all platforms. Go ahead and follow Sid Warrior. He is absolutely amazing, as you must have seen. If you've stuck through till now, I'm sure you found both of us interesting. So follow Sid Warrior. I'm gonna link his channels and description in the description below. Go check him out, and let me know who you'd like to see in the coming episodes. Till then, see you.
Cheers.
Cheers.